Friends, it is December 12th. Hope you guys are doing great today. I am feeling wonderful and not excited about this verse that we're going to talk about today. I was really hoping that Spirit would lead us to something else, because this is something that my mouth is something that has gotten me in trouble for a really, really long time. And as I was sitting down to start recording the lesson today, Holy Spirit reminded me that the mouth and the tongue are two different things. And Paul is speaking, and I'll explain. I hope I explain it clearly. Paul is speaking to Christians who, or not Paul, this is James, sorry, the brother of Jesus. He is speaking to Christians who are having problems with their tongue. Now, there are people who can have a problem with their mouth, but not with their tongue. Let me explain. I've had a problem with my mouth because it moves too much. I've gotten in trouble with talking excessively my whole entire life. Every report card. Wendy could learn more if she would talk less. Something to that effect. Or they used phrases like, Wendy is very social. In other words, Wendy visits with her friends too much, talks too much. I don't remember a report card that didn't have that on there. I always got to see in conduct because of my mouth. Well, then as I have become more and more aware of Holy Spirit's work in my life, I realize that I have struggled not only with my mouth, but also looking at James' warning and listening to Spirit's teaching in my head and prompting. I've had a problem with my tongue as well. You seeing the difference? There's a difference. And I'm so grateful for the conviction, the convicting power, and consistency of Holy Spirit's work in my life. Because I can truly say, though I'm not perfect at it, I am much better at it. And I have allowed God to control my tongue. And I really can't believe I have one, because I bite it a lot. I have two outlets that I feel very free to speak openly and freely to concerning things. And even those two in my life, do I allow Holy Spirit to control what comes out of the lips and what the tongue forms in my mouth to come out of my lips. Do I get it right all the time? No. In fact, the other day, there was a situation, and I didn't know the other side of the situation, and I was hurt. And it really wasn't how I said what I said, but it was what I said. and it has come back to haunt me. And I'm going to have to go set that right with someone that I love. Because I love this person. Why would I want to hurt this person? Well, I was hurt. My heart was hurt. And my heart controlled my tongue. So, what should one do? Well, Warren Wiersbe always has some wise words. Occasionally, I just have to borrow his words and add a few of mine to them. But he says basically, this is what we should do before we speak, before we say anything. Who is in control? We ask that question. And by asking that question, we are pausing and pondering or considering who's in control here before we speak. What will the consequences be? Am I about to start a fire? What's the possible damage here? I can't put words back in my mouth. That old saying, you can't put toothpaste back in the tube. You can't put words back in your mouth. So we wisely need to ask who's in control before we start letting those words come out of our lips and then form in our mouth with our tongue. And what are the motives of what I'm about to say? Going back to the example of my loved one, honestly, I wanted to hurt this person as much as they had hurt me. I wanted this person to feel bad because I felt bad. So my motive wasn't kind. My motive was rude and ugly. And the consequences are a breakdown in trust that I'm going to have to repair. Is my heart right with God? Apparently it wasn't right with God. Not in this situation. Because if it was, I wouldn't have let what was in my heart directly affect my tongue to form these words to come out of my mouth. This verse has been almost as great of impact on me in my life as Deuteronomy 29:29. And that is, take control of what I say, O Lord, and guard my lips. Lord, help me control what I say. Don't let me say anything bad. I love the Easy Reader's version of that. It's just so simple. Don't let me say anything bad. And then that's Psalm 141:3 and in two different translations. And then Ephesians 4:29 in two different translations. I wanted to share that as well. So maybe you're one of those gals. Maybe you're one of those guys that needs to stop and follow Wiersbe's wise words. Who's in control here? What are the consequences? And what are my motives before I even speak? And if we slow down long enough to process those questions, chances are what we were going to say will never cross our lips. See you next time on Read Through the Word.